What is up, guys? It's Brillymister here and welcome to today's video. If you do enjoy the video, then don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment and subscribe, and hit all the links up down below to Twitch and Discord. Enjoy the video. What is up, everybody, and welcome to my top 5 enjoyable bosses. As always with these top 5s, this is my personal opinion and you are free to disagree. This is just what I personally find the most enjoyable. If you do disagree or just want to anyway, leave your top 5 or personal top 5 most enjoyable bosses in the description down below. It'd be really interesting to read some of what you guys enjoy. I really enjoyed reading some of the top 5 PVM items that you guys thought I'd missed, or what your own top 5s were. I found it really enjoyable reading through some of them, so if you do have your own top 5, feel free to drop it in the comments below. But anyway, let's get into the top 5. Coming in at 5th place on the list is one of the bosses that I actually really enjoyed and probably was in my top 2 for a long period of time. I have slightly gone off it a little bit since, but I finished the title now and everything, but it still makes it into my top 5 because it is still a really enjoyable boss. It's fairly relaxing and chilled out, so you can, not fully AFK, but like you can sort of look away, watch a bit of a movie, and just as long as you remember the rotation, you're all good. And that comes into the next bit. It's got fairly predictable mechanics. It always does one, then the next, then the next, and they're all like a set distance apart, so it's fairly chilled out and easy to learn. On the flip side, if anyone is getting into PVM, it is really good for learners, for learning keybinds, because it basically forces you to have to be able to resonance switch and use debilitate or devotion and other basics. So it's really great for learning rotations and stuff like that, and good for learning. But it definitely earns itself a spot on the list in 5th place. Coming up next and in 4th place on my list is something that wouldn't have featured on here until fairly recently, and that is Solak. It would also probably feature a little bit higher up if I was a bit better at it, had done a bit more practice and that sort of thing. But at the moment I definitely feel like it deserves a space on the list, and I'm going to put it in P4. I'm not very good at it, but I'm really enjoying learning new things. I think I've got about 20 KC there now, and I think I've got a good grasp of the basic mechanics, but I would by no means say I'm an expert or anything like that, or particularly good at it, but I can do kills fairly consistently when I'm paired with a good team. It's very consistent good money. You get the pages quite frequently and they're like 3 mil each, and it's got a lot of mechanics, and you can't just ignore them like some bosses where you can kind of ignore the mechanics and sort of do it with them. Like you have to do the mechanics, and they're all quite enjoyable, like engaging mechanics. Once you've done them a few times and got into the hang of it, they all do make fairly logical sense, and it's a good sort of like DPS test. It does really make you try and improve your DPS rotations and stuff like that. But it's definitely something that I am currently really enjoying, and I feel like it definitely deserves the 4th position spot on my list. Coming in 3rd on the list is the Magister. I think this will remain on my list probably forever. I really do enjoy killing the Magister. There's just something really satisfying about it. The quick kills, which can be around the minute time most of the time, even less if you do go quickly. And the fact that it has pretty much a non-existent respawn time, like it literally just is as quick as you can click the pillar. It makes for some massive kill per hour rates, which is pretty ridiculous, and it's just such good XP as well. Not that the XP really matters to me now anymore, because I'm already 200 million mage defense, and anything that I can get from the Magister whilst doing it in a reasonable way. Well, I guess I could range it, but that's another topic. But yeah, it's just such good consistent GP over time. Like, it does require quite a lot of capital and overhead to buy enough keys to complete a Khopesh, but if you can afford it and you do finish the Khopesh, the profits are absolutely massive. In my Loot from 10 Hours series, it still remains the highest GP per hour. It's beaten out Nex, it's beaten out Araxor, it's beaten out every other boss that I have done so far by a substantial margin, and it's just really good money. It's also really satisfying once you've built up your corruption, seeing those absolutely massive hits. Like, you will just hit constant 10-12Ks. If you have a Grimoire on that, I have no doubt that you'll hit 15Ks pretty consistently. Like, there is nothing better than using a wild magic and seeing like a 12k, 10k from a wild magic. It's so satisfying to see. Coming in at 2nd place on the list is Nex. It's one of my all-time favourite bosses. In fact, it is one of the bosses that actually made me want to get more into PVM and learn more stuff. I used to go duo with one of my friends, and like, I pretty much had to wait for them to get a Reaper task so I could go duo and stuff like that with them. And it was so much more engaging than just doing the God Wars Dungeon 2 bosses like Vindictor or God Wars Dungeon 1 and like QBD and that sort of stuff, that it just made you want to do more, and as well the fact that it was really good money compared to them as well. The rare drops are fairly common as well, which is like it's really nice, so you get hooked really quickly on it. The other great things about it is, like, you can solo it very easily once you get into PVM, but even if you're not and you're just starting with PVM, it's really chill to do duo with a friend. Like, you can duo this probably like 120 combat quite happily, I'd imagine, and it's really good to learn. There's some mechanics there, but they're not too brutal. I mean, getting through the blood phase just takes a little bit of learning, and the same with surviving the prisons on the ice phase. But once you've learnt that, like, it's quite an easy boss to consistently kill. The kills are very consistent, it does it all in the same sort of order. It's also quite good for learning these mechanics and kind of like learning to survive a slightly harder boss for people that are just learning and getting into PVM. Like I already said, the rare drops are also fairly common here. Like, it's like a 1 in 30 drop rate or something like that. So you will see a rare drops or like a bit of Virtus or a bit of Torva fairly frequently. And if you're just starting out, that is enough to get you hooked on wanting to do it more, because you get that nice bit of Torva. It's like 100 mil. You get a nice 50 mil split if you're duoing, and like, it just makes you want to go back for more and more and more. The fourth reason I really like it is one that's kind of more personal to me rather than a general thing, but I imagine there are other people out there, or quite a few other people out there that do this, and that is the fact that the Eldritch crossbow spec there is pretty overpowered, and you just like absolutely smash through, especially the shadow phase. And if you do it at the beginning of the ice phase as well, you just use your Eldritch spec into something like a fragmentation shot, walk him, and then use a rapid fire, and you can pretty much phase him before you get prisoned or contain this, which is absolutely awesome. Like, it is so OP here. Even in the first phase as well, like, you just want to use a fragmentation shot, run him out, and then put your Eldritch spec and just rapid fire or corruption shot or anything, and it just absolutely tears through its hit points. It's so good here. Would highly recommend an Eldritch for anyone that's going to do a lot of mechs. So yeah, definitely has earned itself a nice spot in second on the list. So my personal favourite, and the thing which is definitely taking the top spot here by a pretty substantial margin, is Elite Dungeon. So I wouldn't say there's any one Elite Dungeon in particular that's my favourite. I do just think all of them are absolutely amazing bits of content. They were a really good add to the game by Jagex. If I did have to choose a favourite out of the three, it'd probably be ED2, and ED3 is also pretty good as well. ED1 is the one I've done the least, but however, I still find it very enjoyable when I do it. But yeah, all the Elite Dungeons are really good content. The fact that you can do them solo if you're alone or whatever like that, or if you can do them with friends, like in this clip here, I think I'm doing Trio Blackstone Dragon, and it's just really fun to do with friends. And the fact that it like ups and downs the drop rate depending on whether you're solo and trio or duo or whatever, it makes it just so good and such engaging content. And the fact that there's so many different individual bosses within it, so like the fact that even Astellan is completely different to like Veracliff, and Ambassador is nothing like Seru. They're just so unique, each boss, and they're really enjoyable. They all have lots of engaging mechanics rather than just being, you know, click boss, attack, it dies. They're all really different, which is absolutely awesome. Elite Dungeons as well is really good money if you're lucky. I mean, some of them are quite good money anyway. Like ED2 is actually like fairly decent, just GP per hour. ED3, unless you get lucky with an Eldritch piece, it's not the best GP per hour ever, unless you do like trash mob runs, but then that definitely does not make it into the top 5 most enjoyable bosses. You should, yeah, it's horrible. It's not enjoyable at all. I mean, it's good money in XP, but it's not enjoyable. But doing full runs of ED3 is definitely very enjoyable, and if you get an Eldritch piece, I've received a split of an Eldritch piece once. Never had a personal one, but that was like 170 mil split, and I was very happy with it, which was awesome. ED2, you've got the codexes, obviously. ED1's not so good for groups because there's not like any real rare drops that are great. It's just kind of the scales, and the scale amount is pretty severely nerfed when you go in a group. That's the same with all of them. I mean, the amount of Blackstone Hearts you get in ED3 is a lot less, and the amount of Draconic Energy you get in ED2 also is a lot less. But yeah, EDs in general is my favourite boss in game at the moment. You never know, give it a year or so, or wait till God Wars 3 and all that comes out, and this could be completely different. But yeah, not God Wars 2, ED2 and all the rest of the EDs are my favourite at the moment. So if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to comment down below with what your personal favourite or top 5 bosses are. I'd really love to know and read some of the comments to see what you guys enjoy PVM wise. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like, and you can always hit the links up to my Twitch and my Discord server in the description down below. Till next time guys, see ya.